Verse 49, what is the matter with them that they turn away from admonitions as if they were frightened asses?
Asses indeed. 26 centuries earlier, Yahweh told us that Ishmael's offspring, a heritage Muslims claim, would be wild asses of men.
Verse 52, each of them wants to be given scrolls of revelation spread out. No, by no means. They fear not the hereafter. Nay, this is an admonishment. Let them keep it in remembrance, but they will not heed unless the Lord wants them to. He is the fountain of fear. He is the font of mercy.
Stop the presses. Clang the bell. That's flat out amazing. 5 revelations into Islam, and the Lord has just contradicted himself a 3rd time. And this, like the others, is at the core of Muhammad's mission. Didn't the Islamic God teach the use of the pen so that he could teach men that which they did not know? Didn't he give scrolls to every Adam, Abraham, and Jesus? Now he says that when men ask for scrolls of revelation, they will be told, no, by no means, no scrolls for you. Mecca, we have a problem. Oh, and I almost forgot. What do you think about a God who says,
he is the fountain of fear. He is the font of mercy.
Beyond the schizophrenic duplicity, imagine spending eternity with a deity who calls himself the fountain of fear. For those who may be troubled by the biblical references to fear, fear not. The root of the Hebrew and Greek words used for fear mean revere when used in the context of our relationship with Yahweh. Moving on to the 94th surah, the next chronologically, Madudi explains,
no sooner had Muhammad started preaching Islam than the same society which had esteemed him turned hostile. Their relatives and friends, clansmen and neighbors who treated him with respect began to shower him with abuse. No one in Mecca was prepared to listen to him. He was ridiculed and mocked in the streets, so the initial stage was very discouraging. That is why Surah 94 was sent down to console him.
Before we dive into the surah, I'd like to share a hadith from Ibn Ishaq to demonstrate how reluctant Muhammad was to discuss the relationship he had formed with his demonic spirit.
Ishaq, 3 years elapsed from the time that Muhammad concealed his state until Allah commanded him to publish his religion according to the information that has reached me. Proclaim what you have been ordered and turn away from the polytheists.
This is from Koran 15:94.
Warn your family, your nearest relations.
This is Koran 26:214.
When these words came down to the apostle, he said, Allah has ordered me to warn my family, and the task is beyond my strength. When I make my message known to them, I will meet with great unpleasantness. So I have kept silent. But Gabriel,
actually Lucifer,
has told me that if I do not do as ordered, my Lord,
Satan,
will punish me.
This hadith is injurious to Islam. The surahs it references, 15 and 26, were not among the first 50 revealed, so the timing is impossible. Further, Khadijah was the first Muslim and Ali was the third. Muhammad's only other family members were daughters, and in Islam they don't count. So what great unpleasantness was he afraid of? Moreover, imagine a revelation so feeble, the prophet has to be threatened to deliver it. Muslims deserve something better than this.
Quran 94, verse 1. Have we not opened up your chest and removed your burden, which left you hopeless?
Muhammad claimed that the Shara Sadar occurred on 3 occasions. According to Islamic theory, his chest was cut open by the angels, his heart was removed, washed, and then reinserted.
Tabari, messenger, how did you first know with absolute certainty that you were a prophet? He replied, 2 angels came to me while I was somewhere in Mecca. One angel said, open his breast and take out his heart. He opened my chest and heart, removing the pollution of Satan and a clot of blood, and threw them away. Then one said, Wash his breast as you would a receptacle. He summoned the Shekinah,
the Hebrew Shekhinah, or God's presence,
which looked like the face of a white cat, and it was placed in my heart. Then one said, Sew up his breast. So they sewed up my chest and placed the seal between my shoulders.
When none of this occurred, Islam doesn't escape the operation unscathed. If God wished to cleanse a man's spirit of sin, he wouldn't do open heart surgery.
Quran 94, verse 4. We have exalted your fame, raising high the esteem in which you,
Mohammad,
are held.
While I'm convinced that Islam was all about exalting Muhammad, this verse should be troubling for Muslims. First, theirs was the only egocentric prophet. Second, every Quranic verse revealed during this period says that Muhammad was ridiculed, mocked, and tormented by his neighbors. Either God hasn't been attentive and doesn't know what's going on, or he has a rather demented view of esteem. But Muslims miss the foolishness simply because the first surahs revealed are at the end of the book, and by the end of Muhammad's life, he had plundered his way to prosperity. The
opening up
surah ends saying,
Quran 94, verse 5, With every difficulty there is relief. Therefore, when you are set free from whatever you are doing, make your Lord your exclusive object.
In context, this is absurd. Muhammad had nothing else to do. In fact, he had made a career of ditching responsibility. As soon as he had become an adult, he married money and started hanging out in caves. The self-proclaimed prophet reluctantly began to recite dribs and drabs of the Quran publicly. But while the poetry may have sounded decent, the message was indecent. Collectively, almost universally, the people of Mecca became outraged. According to the Quran, Muhammad's friends called him a liar and a magician. They accused him of being possessed by devils. His kin called him an insane, plagiarizing poet. He was characterized as a sorcerer, a lunatic, a far-fetched forger, a fool, and a specious pretender. I was not the first to see Muhammad as a money-grubbing, self-aggrandizing, plagiarizing fraud. His own clan, his own family, his contemporaries saw right through his act.
The unbelievers said, He is a deceiving sorcerer, turning many gods into one deity. There must be a motive behind the Quran. It is surely fabrication. They laugh at the Quran and say, Should we abandon our gods for the sake of an insane poet? Allah has not sent down anything. You are only speaking lies. When our clear revelations are read out to them, they say, This is nothing but a fabricated lie. This is nothing but pure sorcery. What sort of prophet is this? Why was no angel sent to him?
Then from Surah 21,
they say, These are only confused dreams. He has invented them. Let him therefore bring a miracle to us, as did the earlier prophets.
Muhammad was called a fraud more than 100 times in the Quran. At least 20 times his clan accused him of being the only prophet who couldn't do a miracle. In the 11th surah,
they say of the prophet, He has forged the Quran.
From the 10th,
We find you full of folly and a liar to boot.
Then in the 9th, we see the completed equation.
There are some among them who talk ill of the prophet. For those who offend Allah's apostle, there is a painful punishment. Have they not realized that anyone who opposes Allah and His prophet will abide in hell forever?
Before we turn the page on Muhammad's opening Quranic salvo, I'd like to share my perspective on Islam's beginnings. I believe the Hadith and Quran. I believe Muhammad was running away from responsibility, as they claim. Solitude became dear to him. He was searching for God in all the wrong places. As a result, he encountered a demon. It terrified him, just as it would have you or me. It possessed him. Panicked, he ran home and confessed. But his social climbing wife would have none of it. Khadijah said that the demonic spirit was Allah. Ironically, she may have been right. She founded Islam by bequeathing the family business, the Kaaba Inc., Qusay's religious scam, to her recluse husband and employee. The Lord became Muhammad's ambition. The Koran became a tool, one used to claim his prize. God was created in Muhammad's image. He was tortured, illiterate, covetous, delusional, and demented.